So today I'm going to prepare a Mediterranean ziti. I'm going to start out with some onions and garlic, and I'm simply going to sweat them down a little bit, and that's just until they get a little shimmer to them, and they, right when they start to get soft, I think I'll add a touch more. So the inspiration for this pasta came from something that was requested of me one day, actually when I was requested to do it, in my memory bank, as being a chef for about 12 years now, it's something that I haven't done in a long time, but I felt like it was something that people could enjoy, and that's why I chose to cook it for y'all today. As I said before, we have some beautiful Louisiana shrimp, as well as some sun-dried Creole tomatoes, and I think all of the ingredients that I have gathered for you today will make a very, very tasty pasta, and I think it's a nice change from the average, everyday kind of seafood style pasta. The Mediterranean side of this dish will be the feta cheese, as well as the herb blend that I picked, and I have a little bit of white wine, to be more specific, Chardonnay. And I'm also going to add some black olives to it as well. So I'm going to add the shrimp at this point in time. These shrimp are peeled and they are deveined. And I kind of put a little marinade on them of Creole seasoning as well as olive oil. I'm going to bring a Creole touch to everything I do, even things that's more international, just to give you a variety of the Creole cuisine. So I'm only going to saute these shrimp until they start to turn a little pink. Then I'm going to add the white wine and deglaze the whole skillet. And I'm going to kind of build this pasta up from the bottom up. So right now I got the marinade off the shrimp, which is giving it a little flavor, as well as the onions and garlic. And I think I'm almost about ready. I'm going to add the mushrooms at this time. I don't want to cook those down too much. I want to leave them slightly firm so you can enjoy them. I don't like squishing down on anything while I'm eating, so I'm going to leave that a little al dente for y'all. And I'm going to deglaze this whole skillet, as I say, with the wine, and we're going to build it from there. You always want to deglaze in a hot skillet. If the skillet ain't hot enough, it's not going to give you that sound that you just heard. Now I have about a teaspoon of seasoning blend that I prepared. It's crushed red peppers, garlic, fresh cracked black pepper, as well as sea salt. Alright? So I'm going to build the flavor from the bottom all the way up. Alright? At this point in time, I'm going to add the tomatoes, Louisiana Creole tomatoes, as well as sun-dried tomatoes. The smell from this is gorgeous. Wish you can smell it, but if you have your skillet at the right temperature and you follow the vision that I have for this dish, I think you will enjoy it. Now, at this point in time, you can see I let the wine cook down a little bit. I'm going to let it go down a little bit more. In the meantime, I'm going to add this fresh herb blend. Right on the top, you can see I got a basil chiffonade. And I just cut that basil into small, thin strips. I also have green onions mixed in this, Italian parsley, a little bit of fresh oregano as well. So that's going to give it a nice, fresh garden kind of taste. The Mediterraneans believe in cooking like that, and it's one of the beliefs that I follow on a daily basis with different dishes. So we're going to put a handful of herbs in. We're going to continue to let it come up. And if you can see, it's at the perfect temperature. The bubbles aren't as rapid like a ball. They're simmering, and that's what you want in your skillet. If your bubbles is moving more rapid, turn it down a little bit. It's going to start to burn, and when you add everything else, it's going to cook too fast. So you want your bubbles right around where they at now. They're moving just like that. That's what you want. And you see my shrimp, they're starting to curl, which means they're beginning to cook all the way through. You see, as I said, the white wine is cooked down a little bit. So I got this fresh shrimp stock right here. I'm going to add a touch of that. I simply peel these shrimp, and the onions and the garlic scraps that I had left over, as well as the bottom of the green onions, as well as the stems from the basil and the oregano. I threw all that in the skillet, in a pot, covered it with water and let it simmer overnight on a very, very, very low heat. The flavor of this shrimp stock alone can be the base of soup or any type of sauce. So I decided to add it to this pasta today, and it's real, real easy to do. If you buy the shrimp with the peel on, simply peel the shrimp, add the scraps from your seasoning, don't throw anything away, throw it all in a pot, cover it with water, and just let it simmer on low. You don't have to do anything else. As long as your base is good, your dish will be perfect every time. So we added the shrimp stock. I'm going to let it cook down a touch. Then I'm going to add the pasta, I'm going to add the olives, and we're going to top it off with a little bit of feta cheese and garnish it with a little bit of fresh basil. And it's going to be a perfect pasta for you. I'm also going to add a touch of cream just to give it a slight bit of creaminess, as well as just building a little bit more flavor in it. I think the white wine and the shrimp stock make the sauce a little thin, so I decided to add a little heavy cream to it. You could definitely omit that if you want. If not, try a little bit. I'm only going to add about a fourth of a cup. So we're going to let this cook down momentarily, and then we're going to come up from there. The base of this pasta, as we said, was the onions and garlic. And as long as you build your flavor in stages, by the time you finish your product and allow it time to cook on the right temperature, any dish, as well as this one, will be perfect. Alright, so we're almost where we need to be. As we said, I didn't saute the mushrooms thoroughly. I just kind of gave them a light kind of saute, a quick saute. So they're still going to be slightly firm, and I decided to quarter those mushrooms instead of slicing them. When you slice them, they tend to disappear a little bit. Alright, so now I have about 2 cups of cooked ziti that I'm going to add to this dish. Now I cooked this pasta al dente. When I say al dente, that means I left it a little bit firm to the bite. I didn't cook it all the way, because by the time you cook it, if I'd have cooked the pasta all the way and then added it to the shrimp and to the skillet, by the time the finished product would have arrived, it would have been overcooked, it would have been mushy. So I cooked them about 3/4 of the way, which is 75%. And the skillet is going to finish off, and it should be perfect. Alright. So as you can tell in the skillet here, I tried to make a ratio of pasta to ingredients. If you put too much pasta in when you go to eat, it's going to be all pasta. So I decided not to do that. I'm going to put a certain amount of pasta equal to the amount of ingredients. That way you have a better dish. Now we're only going to add a touch of cream at this point. Alright. Now the sauce is built. Now I'm just going to let it simmer a little bit. As that cream reduces down, it's going to thicken the sauce slightly. I'm going to add a touch more herbs. As I said, it's green onions and parsley and oregano and basil. This is giving it that fresh flavor that you want. Now I'm going to also add a little bit of black olive, sliced black olive calamatas. As I said, this is Mediterranean, so that's why you will see olives in a lot of their dishes. You will see feta in a lot of their dishes, from pitas to wraps to different soups. And we almost where we need to be. Alright? So we're going to let this cook down momentarily. Then we have the Mediterranean ziti. Now I also added a little salt and olive oil to the pasta. If you flavor your pasta and add it to a flavored dish, all of those are going to come together and combine to make one flavorful eruption of ingredients. So we had the sun-dried tomatoes, which, as you can tell, the Louisiana tomatoes have turned. They've cooked down in it, and it's like ribbons inside of this pasta. It's going to be a nice thing to eat for any occasion, whether you're having an intimate dinner. This makes well at a party on a buffet. It holds real well, and everybody loves shrimp, especially when they're from Louisiana. Alright, so this is pretty much where we need it to be right now. Alright, so I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to cut it off. We want that sauce, you know, pasta continues to soak in liquid with the temperature. So I'm going to cut it off now. And as I plate it up and garnish it with the feta cheese and the basil, it's going to continue to soak in a little bit, but it's going to be a nice moist pasta with an eruption of flavor. So I'm going to plate this up and show you the final garnish on it. I placed some baby spinach in this pasta bowl. I'm going to drop the pasta right in the middle and garnish from there. Give it a nice little toss. This makes a beautiful presentation, as I said, for any occasion. Okay, so make sure a little shrimp is visible. Okay. Get all that out of there.